When looking at any upcoming anime chart, I generally will see a bunch of cute animal characters and naturally will assume, oh, it's a children's show. And there's nothing wrong with that. I had plenty of bare bones cartoons as a kid that I enjoyed, and children need shows targeted towards them, either for educational or just amusement purposes. But sometimes I will make the assumption that something is a children's show just by the initial poster image, when I shouldn't. Aggretsuko is exactly that. Now, I quite like the overall designs that many children's shows receive in modern day. Simply put, they are adorable. And I've always appreciated when media takes something that's generally designed for a younger demographic and repurposes it for an older one. It's not to say that this show is exactly mature, but it's definitely not designed for children despite your initial impressions from the show's aesthetic. I mean, death metal karaoke and getting drunk doesn't really scream after school cartoons. Sanrio characters are genius because of how well they are marketed. They are designed to be bought in every form of merchandise that you can think of. Sanrio makes characters that will have a large market value for years to come, and they do an exceptional job at this. You see how popular things like Hello Kitty are and how long of a life many of the characters have, but Aggretsuko is an interesting move in marketing for them. It's an already established brand of characters, but this new anime series is quite genius, whereas the original 100 episode anime that ran for only 1 minute an episode wasn't really that talked about for obvious reasons. There are plenty of shows from when I was a kid like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! That was designed to promote their card game counterpart or other merchandise, but those series, even though I now know what they were doing, they still were solid series by themselves, advertising aside. And that's how I feel about the new Aggretsuko anime project airing on Netflix. This 10 episode series focusing on a red panda who has a desk job that sucks to the highest degree, has an obnoxiously angry pig of a boss who slams work on her like no tomorrow, thinking he is the one who deserves the vacation despite not working all that much, has a group of coworkers who are all pretty annoying and backstabbing, but is also surrounded by a world that just seems like it's out to get you every single day. It becomes a pretty relatable but gut-punching hilarious show with the main character who you just want to root for. Especially when this cute little red panda gets her anger and frustration out by screaming her thoughts in death metal karaoke. Watching these 10 episodes, I thought to myself, this is a great show first and foremost, but it's a solid commercial for the Sanrio brand second. I mean, I kinda want a plushie of Retsuko now, but that's just because I like her character, damn it, not because the design is adorable. Maybe. All the characters in the show have a quirk to them, and it never goes past that for obvious reasons. These are characters that are designed to be marketed in all forms of media for years to come. They are limited in a sense that they can't evolve past their initial image that lands with the viewer. But because of the 10 episode limit to the season and how each episode is only 15-ish minutes on average, it currently isn't an issue. This is a comedy anime focused on the BS that the world and everyday life will throw at us, and unluckily for Retsuko, she gets hit with everything because she is the office pushover that takes one for the team, which ultimately results in the series having some of the funniest dialogue that the spring 2018 anime season has to offer. If these characters were anything other than adorable animals, it really wouldn't have worked in my honest opinion. Just being relatable for the sake of being relatable, why watch a story about that? Especially when this is about all the horrible things many workers go through in their day-to-day life. We want to escape from the shitty boss and annoying and backstabbing coworkers, not see them in our precious anime. But designing them as either cute animals or disgusting pigs, it makes it worth watching, because it presents the things we see in our everyday life in a way that doesn't feel stressful, but just absurd to look at, and it becomes damn fun because of this design choice. Comedy series have to really design the quirk that a character will have well, because typically you won't see much growth or deviation away from that quirk. Look at something that is successful like South Park. Characters have evolved naturally, but the reason it stayed so funny for so long before having to change their characters around, it's because of the initial design for their personalities, and they were so damn hilarious that you could keep throwing them in new or existing situations and play around with them without it growing old. And when it did feel old, they would just introduce another memorable character. And I think Aggretsuko has a similar basis to go off of. I really don't think that they could change any of these characters much due to their marketing value, but I think they could probably make 50 episodes before I would start to think, this is getting old. A red panda who every episode makes a new death metal verse screaming about the frustrating things around her is perfect. It's completely opposite to what the design should be. They sprinkle in a little bit of everything that makes day-to-day life what it is. The backstabbing of the office place, the coworker who stalks people on social media to get any and all dirt they can and to try to ruin them. The ass kisser that everyone hates because of how fake she is, the guy who just wants to land the girl he likes but he is so bad at leaving hints it hurts to watch, the list goes on. Every single design is memorable in the cast, even the pig of a boss. You might hate him, but he's always entertaining to watch on screen, and the design does stay in your mind, for better or worse. This is marketing genius in my books. These characters are stamped into my brain, but by being a great social commentary anime, not just by being a commercial for cute Sanrio merchandise. So I want to see where else these characters can exist, but because of how well this anime turned out, and honestly if Sanrio makes more anime in this vein, I'll definitely give it a go. The death metal gimmick should have failed in my honest opinion, but what made it work for me is how each time Retsuko sang a death metal song, the lyrics changed to match what pissed her off. It's a simple reason I know, but having the lyrics always match the situation that angered her really made this gimmick hilarious, and more times than not I was laughing out loud, with each song not being too long but so quick that you immediately wanted to hear more. Leaving the viewer wanting more is so much better than dragging the gimmick along for far too long that it grows stale. Even if you haven't reached the working world or your current or past jobs aren't relatable to the setting, they do a great job at making all the struggles this little red panda goes through something you can easily see happening, and it ends up being something that screams reality while being fictional, all because of these adorable character designs. The series was so fun that I immediately started rewatching it as soon as I finished it, and now I've seen it in both the English and Japanese audio. And I have to say, both versions were top-notch quality. And if you're going to show an anime to someone who doesn't like anime or hasn't tried anime before, show them this in the English dub. They won't think it's some weird tentacle show, they will just think that it's a hilariously relatable cartoon about a bunch of cute animals. When people ask what their first anime should be, there really is no right answer for everyone. You need to know the person's taste to send them off in the right direction. But this is a show that I think you could really recommend to someone not knowing anything about them, and more times than not they would come out entertained. This really is a show for most people. Well, unless you personally relate to the pig of a boss, then you might hate how they represented you. Now even if I read the premise for the series, learning that this is about a panda who gets her anger out by screaming death metal, I honestly probably wouldn't have tried it. Sure, many might think that it's an amazing premise, and after seeing how it was executed, it is. But it sounds like a gimmick that would get old fast and probably wouldn't be that funny past the 1-minute episode mark, which originally is how the franchise got represented in the animated form. But after hearing enough people praise this new anime, I gave it a shot, and within minutes I was sold. In different hands this would have been nothing but a commercial for merchandise, and even though it did end up being that, first and foremost it was hilarious social commentary about the world and what most of us end up dealing with. I really hope this gets more seasons, and even though it could easily grow stale later on, it would be a while before I'd see that happen. So please, season 2 and 3 on my desk by Monday, Netflix, or you're fired. But if you have seen Aggressive Retsuko, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you're feeling, let me know down in that comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like, and if you're new, also be sure to subscribe. As well, if you want to go the extra mile and help support what I do, you can also check out my Patreon if you so wish. So until next time everyone, please take care and y'all have a good one.